Yep, it did get messy, pitching especially, and pitching on the first pitch of the game. Nathan Stahl gives up a hit in between the first base and second base gap, and just like that, we talked about in the end of that game, Evansville may have some momentum to carry over, and right there, who else but Mark Schallenberger, who didn't have a hit in that entire first game, Evansville's best hitter.
Yeah, definitely had kind of an off game for him earlier today, but just getting started super early on in the second game of the doubleheader, and Nathan Stahl getting that starting position on the mound for Indiana.
Nathan still, as you said, getting that start today. His last outing was March 19th against Xavier. He only went 2 innings, struck out 4 and 2 hits, and didn't give up a run. So looking to do something along those lines. Indiana used 4 pitchers in that last game. 3 of them came within the last 2 innings.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, it was definitely Bradley Bremer who was outstanding in the mound for Indiana, and just had 7 innings pitched, and at some point just it became too much, so had to sub him out, and it just kind of went downhill from there.
Yeah, it certainly did. Reese Sharp had a good 7th inning, and then came out, hit a couple guys in the 8th. When they brought in Biagio Munoz, he hit one guy, and gave up a 3-run homer. And thank goodness for Nate Holderfield, Indiana was able to squeak out with the win. But that game's over. Let's move on. Indiana now finds himself in some trouble. 1 on, nobody out, with Simon Cherry at the plate. Cherry 0 for 4 this afternoon. He's going to want to flip the script in the second game.
Yeah, definitely want to get back on, want to take this series for Evansville. It would be a huge series if they were able to take it. Absolutely
would be. Evansville hasn't won a series against a Big Ten opponent in quite some time, and Cherry smokes it into left field, and Schallenberger will stay at second base. And just like that, 2 up, 2 hits, 2 men on for Evansville, who had no problem scoring runs Friday night. Only had 17 of them. Able to pick up 5 in the last 2 innings today, and now already 2 for 2 to start this game off. Nathan Stahl gonna have to be careful here with Tanner Craig, who showed us what he could do now no more than an hour ago.
Yeah, Tanner Craig was that offensive spark that Evansville needed, and stepped up and was that player that just really kind of got the team going and got the rally going, and he stepped up in that position. And obviously the rally wasn't enough to send it into extra innings or to come away with a win, but still did a really good job at rallying, and kind of can take that momentum that they had in that game into this one.
Absolutely, that one turned on quickly. Craig just a little bit early to that pitch, and Evansville batters have already shown an ability on Nathan Stahl to be able to not only catch up to his fastball, but put them in play. Tanner Craig now facing an 0-2 count to Stahl. Swung on and missed. Nathan Stahl gets Tanner Craig swinging for the first out of the inning, first out of this game 2. Stahl, great job. Oh, beautiful pitch there. And everybody on Indiana can breathe a little bit. Indiana changed the jerseys. Let's hope it doesn't change their momentum too much. They were in white tops and white bottoms, now in red tops and red bottoms. Evansville only brought 1 change of clothes for this trip. They're staying in the purple tops and the white bottoms as Brent Witter is up to bat. That one swung on right up the middle. Turned Schallenberger around. And that one would have been a close play at the plate. Schallenberger upset with himself. I think he knows if he would have just jumped on that pitch originally, he would have been there. Would have been a home, and it would be a 1-0 game right now.
Yeah, it definitely would have been a close one, but for Evansville to be able to get that lead early on would have been huge. But I mean, now you have bases loaded with Chase Hugg, who had an amazing hit to right field earlier. And so just a really good position for him to be in, especially with one out.
One out, bases loaded now. Nathan Stahl is getting dinged up early. 3 hits for 3 singles with only a strikeout in between. Chase Hugg now, as you mentioned, had a great shot down the first baseline earlier, and Evansville has not been afraid to swing the bat here on Nathan Stahl, who's only got 10 pitches up to this point. Now 11. It's an 0-1 count. Stahl looking to get settled in. In a sea of red out there with the Indiana defense. Out temperature has warmed up just a bit. We're now up to what, about 40, 41 degrees. Started today at 36. It's been a chilly weekend late in March here in Bloomington. And that one swung on and right to Tyler Doanes. They're gonna have to turn 2. They're not gonna get it there fast enough. We've seen a little bit of, slow turns from Tyler Doanes thus far. We're going to be talking a lot about the first game in this broadcast, and right there again, it just seems like he's not trying to get the ball out of his hand fast enough. You see a little hesitation, and it allows Evansville to score a run.
Yeah, the hesitation also allows runners now on the corners, which is a position that Stahl does not want to be in. 2 outs still. But Evansville with a 1-0 lead early on.
Absolutely. Last game it was Indiana that scored the first run and held the lead throughout. Now it's Evansville, and they would love to do something similar. Doanes fouled back into the bleachers over the first base dugout. Nathan Stahl, 0-1 count. 3 hits thus far, 1 strikeout, and 1 run for the Purple Aces. Make that 6 runs in their last 3 innings. Evan Berkey up to bat. Berkey fouls that one back. He was the man that almost got this game knotted up. Biagio Munoz came in for relief work in the bottom of the 8th. If bases were loaded. Guys on 2nd and 3rd, Berkey took the first pitch opposite field. Carried it about 350 over that right field wall. Let's see if he can keep that going. 0-2 count, and swung on and into right field. Play easily made in right field. That was Samuel Murrison, who's moved up a spot in the lineup card. Him and Carter Matheson switched, nearly matching their hit total from game 1 of this doubleheader. It's Tyler Doanes into bat, and that one smoked, and the play cannot be made at first base. Tanner Craig missed that one. Doanes smoked it down the line, and Indiana now picks up their first hit of the game. To start off this second game is Mr. Nick Smith, the sophomore out of Boonville, Indiana. Went to Boonville High School. That one strike paints the outside corner. His last outing against Northwestern, not his best work. Only went 3 innings, gave up 4 hits and 5 earned runs. Walked 4 batters as well, so chance for Nick Smith to turn a new page against Big Ten opponents this season. Had a very good outing in his first start of the season against NC State. Went 4 innings, only gave up 2 runs, so gonna look to do something along those lines today, Samantha.
Yeah, definitely, and there's been other changes within the Evansville lineup, like versus what was in the earlier game, as Danny Bordstrom is in left field now for the Purple Aces, and Chase Hugg gets moved to right field. So Eric Roberts not out there anymore in the defense for Evansville.
And Eric Roberts had a pretty big play in the top of that eighth, was able to beat out the throw from Tyler Doanes, and certainly helped Evansville mount that comeback. Fell just short. As Philip Glasser, the Youngstown State transfer, is in. Now was named to the second team All-Horizon League last season as a junior. Senior shortstop this year for Indiana. A lot of new faces on this Indiana baseball team. Almost too many to count.
Yeah, whether that's a freshman that's gotten a starting position or even transfers like you mentioned, transfers from Louisville, Rutgers, all over the country in terms of the baseball.
Yeah, Philip Glasser 0 for 4 in that first game. So he's got to be itching to get something going here. Faces a 1-2 count against Smith. Smith is currently listed number 2 on the depth chart of starting pitchers, as Tyler Doanes got a good break there, but it's fouled back. Smith listed as the number 2 pitcher for this Purple Aces team. It's actually Evansville's first All-American selection in 1998, and was also named to Missouri Valley Conference's All-Centennial team. So, you know, he's got a thing or two to teach these players about, and all they got to do is go watch old coach's highlight tapes if they want to know what a real competitor looked like.
Yeah, we mentioned a little bit about how this Evansville team has big dreams, and also that they haven't had a series win over a Big Ten team in a while. And they had a series win over a Big Ten team, Iowa, in 2019, but a win in this game would give Evansville its first true road series win over a Big Ten opponent.
As that one shot into the gap from Philip Glasser, he gets his first hit of the day through 2 games. And now it's 2 on, nobody out. But yep, as you were mentioning, looking for their first series win against a Big Ten opponent. They were so close to getting that done. You know, they're salivating at the opportunity to do so, as Bobby Whalen now steps into the box, and he hits that one foul right side. It's going to go just into the dugout, I think, to, you know, just get easy outs, get strikeouts, get ground outs, anything along those lines.
It's definitely shown, considering Evansville's already had 3 hits and Indiana's had 2.
And there's the first 2 outs, but Tyler Doanes walks home and ties the game up for Indiana. 1-1 now in the bottom of this first inning, and
just increases that lead a little more.
Absolutely, he's not going anywhere. So he's going to look to do something similar here, and just cannot express how big of a blow that would be to Indiana if Whalen doesn't return at least today. That's a strike, fires it in there, only at 79 miles an hour. Nick Smith, definitely a different change of pace than what we saw with Shane Gray earlier, who after a rocky start really got things going in the middle innings for Evansville. That one swung on and missed. 1-2 count, 2 outs, nobody on. As Indiana's going to have to figure out who they're going to throw out there at center field. And that's strike 3, and they're going to have to find out really soon now. Tie ball game, 1-1 here in the second leg of the doubleheader. Evansville striking out.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Murrison, as we mentioned, his 3rd started game earlier. This would make it his 4th started game in this one. And doing a lot with that opportunity in that first game. Murrison had a really, really good hit. as well as a walk and was able to score. And that one shot through the gap. Another single for Murrison on the day. All the hitters just making it look easy, aren't they?
Yeah, right between shortstop and first base. And
in there in a jiffy. And now Matheson, we mentioned, started at left field. Now it's center. Pump fakes at that one. It'll be strike one for Chris Smith. Matheson was 1 for 4 in that game with an RBI. Indiana starting to solidify their lineup a little bit more. Earlier in the season, it was Morgan Colopy playing in the outfield, but he's dealing with a little bit of an injury, so they're keeping him rested for a little bit, and now gonna really test that outfield depth with Bobby Whalen sidelined for at least the rest of this game. Who knows, Indiana's next game will be April 1st, so got about 4 or 5 days to figure that out.
And it's a really big deal for Indiana to try to figure out a lineup just because they're going into Big Ten season really soon. You mentioned April 1st. They play Northwestern and start that series, and that's going to be their first Big Ten series. And once you get into Big Ten play, that's when it gets really serious. And Indiana has played some really good teams early on. We mentioned earlier, played Stanford, Arkansas, and have gotten some good reps with those teams, especially being a young team. So that is definitely something that's going to prepare them for Big Ten play.
Yeah, you talk about a team that's played some really good teams already this year. Look no further than Evansville, how they started. Started 3 games against number Tennessee, NC State, and took it on the chin a little bit in a couple of those. Lost the first game of the year, 6-24. Then, right after that, who do you go play? Only the 3rd best team in the country on Vanderbilt for a 1-game series, and take it on the chin again. Get shut out, 9-0. So
Bears in the Big Ten and have definitely faced some adversity in the non-conference schedule, and obviously so has Evansville. And, I mean, playing teams like that, you're definitely going to have to.
Yeah, and it definitely gets you, prepared. The pitching against some of those other teams, especially in conference play, might be a little slower as Murrison gets a good jump, and it looks like he beat the throw, and he is safe. Umpire took his sweet time calling that one. That was Joshua Shepis who called him safe, almost like he had to register it in the brain before he made the call. See if we can watch this angle. Was the ball dropped on the tag? It doesn't look like it. I think it was just a great slide from Sam Murrison.
Yeah, and Evansville fans not very happy with that one, but like we mentioned, not a lot of controversial calls in the first game, but there's been a few here.
And Doanes, the bat is hot for Tyler Doanes right now. That's going to be an RBI single as Murrison crosses home plate. And Doanes has really been able to get it going for the Hoosiers today. Is up to bat. He's also 1 for 1, had a single in that first inning, helped Indiana score their first run of the game as Indiana just tied it up 2-2. Smith looks back at first. First pitch. Swung on, hard hit ball. Just inside the first base coach. As we mentioned, all the batters making it so much difficult for pitchers to really get any kind of momentum going. You just won't see as many strikeouts in this game as we saw in the first.
Yeah, and Smith staying in for Evansville through it all, has done a really nice job of not letting the game got a little bit away from them in the first one, but obviously had that route where they scored 5 runs.
And that one, great play made by the third baseman, Berkey. And Doanes almost tagged out on the throw back to first base. That was very close. After the hamstring injury to Whalen, Fugers watches the first one going for a strike, and that's got to be pretty tough. You didn't get a batting, you didn't get a pregame batting practice in before the second game. You got it before the first game, but that was now 5 hours ago. So
yeah, I can just imagine getting thrown in the game, not expecting it, but has done a good job at first base. There had that play that was kind of iffy, but did a really good job at not letting the ball get away from him and letting the runner advance to second. That was the biggest thing from him.
Absolutely, and Fugers, you can tell, awfully shy at the plate. Would really like to see a few get away from Chris Smith, but if you're Chris Smith, you are attacking Fugers all day long. Especially seeing that average up there on the board, only batting .087 on the season.
Smith is really watching Doanes there on first base. Has thrown it to first base a few times already now.
He's got his eye on Doanes. 1-2 count to Fugers. That one's outside. Doanes gets the jump, but he's out. He is out. Good jump, better throw from catcher Brendan Horde, and Evansville's got something to celebrate right now. Indiana ties the game up 2-2, but it's on the mound for the Hoosiers here in the top of the fourth. We mentioned Evansville really had some cheers going on there in the dugout. You can sense that they can sense the opportunity they have in front of them. Tie game right now with Indiana's best hitter by average off of the field for the remainder of this game. Obviously, the starting pitcher, Nathan Stahl, only made it an inning and a third of work. And Ryan Kraft, fortunately, gets Schallenberger to ground out. Schallenberger's had a great day thus far for Evansville, so you know Kraft is happy to have him on the bench.
Indiana hasn't had a lot of quick outs like that so far in this game, so getting that first quick out is really good momentum for the Hoosiers on defense.
It is Simon Sherry. Had a rocket shot single earlier in this game. Now up to bat. That one high. Presses him off the plate a little bit. We've lost a considerable number of fans from that first to second game.
I was just noticing that.
Here in Bart Kaufman. Started off, that attendance in the first game was 1,500. We're lucky to find 150 people here now.
Yeah, definitely. And the sun doesn't look like it's shining on the stands either, so the ones that are out there are troopers. Shining a little bit on Evansville side of things, but not really on Indiana side. Press box is kind of blocking off the sun.
Yeah, certainly. It looks shady. It doesn't look like the place to quite be at. Maybe behind that, as you mentioned, first base dugout. That one, another just bullet over the first base bullpen from Simon Sherry. Now facing a 1-2 count. Kraft would love to get through the 1 and 2 hitters this early on in the top of the fourth. Already their third at bats in the top of the fourth inning. So they're going to get a lot of opportunities throughout this game if Indiana isn't able to close out some hitters.
Yeah, Evansville going through their lineup pretty quickly.
And that one smoked, and it gets down over the head of Josh Pine. Running into the corner is Tibbetts. They're going to hold Sherry at second, but once again, early in the inning, Evansville is going to work against the Indiana pitching staff.
Yeah, that just got down right next to the foul line. Just got placed right perfectly there for Sherry.
Of Great hit by Sherry, and now we're starting to see all this talk we had about Evansville hitters early on in the first game come to fruition. As Tanner Craig steps into the box for the third time in the second game.
It definitely had an off game, I think, earlier against Indiana and kind of shook all of that off here in the second game.
Yeah, Sherry is seeing the ball well, and Tanner Craig would like to get some of that mojo as well. We mentioned some of us we got to get a ladder to go look at that dent he might have put in the scoreboard out there in that top of the 8th inning earlier. As he faces a 1-0 count, now a 2-0 count. Matthew Ellis gets down to it.
Yeah, Craig who had a great game like we mentioned earlier. It's 0-2 to start off today. First 2 batters for Evansville, not doing great. Deeper in their lineup has been the players that have stepped up the most.
And that ball really close to the zone. Wayne Harris not budging an inch. 3-0 count for Craig. This might be a quick 4 pitches to first base. And that one in for a strike, slides right in there on Tanner Craig. Now 3-1 count. And the wind is moving here right up around 8-9 miles an hour. But it's fluctuating quite a bit.
Yeah, I see the American flag and Indiana State flag out there.
Swing and a miss from Tanner Craig. Yeah, I've been looking at the home plate umpire's pants when he starts bending down. They're whipping back and forth.
Yeah, you definitely see the wind there.
That is the benefit to being in the box up here on a day like today. While the sun is out, it doesn't make it that much hotter.
Yeah, the wind chill in Bloomington is pretty brutal most of the time.
Take me back to Georgia. Tanner Craig, full count. Guy on second, 1 out. Already 8 hits for this Evansville team in only the top of the 4th. That one outside, not even close, and now Evansville first and second. And up to bat comes Brent Witter.
Witter has had a really good game so far. Didn't do great in the first game, but 2 for 2 today. Has 13 RBIs so on the season. So definitely someone that if you're Evansville, you want up to bat and hopefully get bases loaded or even send some runners home.
Where he also picked up the winning decision. Went 3 2/3 innings, only gave up 3 runs and had 5 Ks in that one. Only 1 strikeout thus far. Could really use one here against Brent Witter. High on that first pitch, make it a 1-0 count, and now these Evansville batters can be really patient in the box, and you couldn't do that earlier with Bradley Bremer on the mound, not in that first game.
No, definitely, and that's why they were having to swing, but not really too quick to swing on Kraft.
1-0 count for Witter. He's been seeing the ball fantastically in this second game. That one inside for a strike. Kraft has that slider working pretty well on those right-handed batters. 1-1 count, 1 out, 2 on. High fly ball into shallow right field. That's going to get too far foul, and neither Fugers nor Murrison able to get there. Doanes ran about a mile.
I know. Really trying to get to that one.
I know, I'm sorry.
Trying to get that second out.
Sorry, Tyler. I don't think that was in your realm. And we're dwindling fans by the minute here. Evansville fans staying strong. They got the blankets out. 3, 4, 5 layers on. I tried to sit through that Cincinnati game a few weeks ago, and it was tough. That one grounded right to Kraft, and not a great throw to second base. That's the second time he's put it in the dirt to Tyler Doanes, and Doanes unable to make the play this time. Brent Witter gets away with one. Should have been a double play. Instead, it's bases loaded with 1 out. Let's watch that one again. Right to Kraft, but Kraft got to understand you're throwing off a mound. You're not throwing it over the plate, so just got to keep it high enough for Doanes to make the catch. Unable to do that. And that's where the fielding errors often come into play with pitchers. That's listed as an error.
First error of the game so far. There was a few early on from both teams in the first game.
And now Kraft really gonna have to lock in here. Bases loaded, 1 out. Could still turn a double play at any point here with all these force out available. Good first pitch, first strike, second one. Swung on and missed. 0-2 now quickly on Chase Hugg.
Good job there by Kraft to just kind of compose himself after. You got to be down on yourself after you make that throw, and would have been an out, and it's kind of heartbreaking, but doing a really good job at getting the count 0-2, 1-2 now, but still in Kraft's favor.
Yeah, absolutely. Kraft trying to get fancy with that one, paint the corner. Looks like he just missed it, but as we mentioned, home plate umpire Wayne Harris not budging on that zone at all. Here we go, 1-2 count. He needs this one. And that one's outside, almost the same spot. 2-2 count for Kraft now, who's up to 51 pitches. Again, still nobody in the pen for Indiana. No question they want to get to the end of this inning with Kraft out there. 2-2 count, that one's inside. That's a strike 3 call. Chase Hugg looking. Samantha, when you're battling a 2-2 count, you just can't watch pitches like that go by.
No, especially if you're Chase Hugg, and Hugg has done a great job at hitting the ball earlier in the game, had a big hit, and yeah, just watch that one is now 0-3 into the second game of today's doubleheader, with Evan Berkey coming up now, who's 1-2 on the day and hoping to make that 2-3.
That was a great pitch. Great slider there from. And once again, he throws it again. Loving that pitch today. Great job by Ryan Kraft trying to get himself out of this inning. 0-1 count, 2 outs, but base is still loaded.
Yeah, and we mentioned how Evansville has been hesitant to swing, and it's been hurting them in some instances.
And that one's strike 2, same pitch, same result. Berkey confused. And Wayne Harris told him, I just called it. Just called it a strike.
Not giving him any explanation.
No, we'll see if Kraft goes back to the well to pick up his 3rd strikeout of the day. 0-2 count, 2 outs. Bases loaded, that one high. Trying to get Berkey to chase there.
Yeah, but Evansville isn't swinging on anything that they think is going to be outside the zone.
No question, they've had a pretty good eye early in this second game, still in the top of the fourth inning. That one fouled back over our heads. Pray for the camera crew.
Indiana would be pretty lucky to get out of this inning without allowing a run. Bases loaded situation. It's a situation they've been in a few times. They were earlier in the first game.
Swung on and missed. The 74-mile-an-hour slider gets him moving and swinging. Because Doanes was thrown out at second to end the bottom of the third, Fugers comes right back out to bat. Looked quite timid in that first plate appearance, so maybe he has talked a couple of things over with Coach Mercer and is ready to come out here and swing the bat.
Yeah, after the first at-bat, get a little more comfortable.
And he makes contact. It's skied pretty high to second baseman Witter. And with Matthew Ellis coming up to bat for his second plate appearance.
Or Matty Deep Sauce. But ultimately, Ellis and his fans came up with hashtag Big Country as the winning hashtag. Guys.
Well, Big Country had a pretty big performance in that first game, but Gwen, I'm not gonna lie, I think Matty Deep Sauce is my favorite. I think I'm gonna have to get that trending myself for Matthew Ellis. Maybe Hanky Deep Sauce. No, I don't think that works. Just forget I said anything. Thank you, Gwen, for that. Matthew Ellis, excuse me, Big Country faces a 2-1 count now, 1 out. An early one from Fugers. Ellis thinks about that one, lays off. It's a 3-1 count now. He struck out looking in that first inning.
Matty Deep Sauce is definitely the one I would have voted
isn't
for.
that a good one?
That's what I'm saying, and he gets the walk there. So good start for him.
Yeah, see, I think if he had the vote, he probably would still go with Big Country, but make a play today. Swinging the bat, 0 for 4 combined through the 2 games with a strikeout. Does have a couple walks. So anything to get on base would be great for Tibbetts.
Yeah, I'd say he's due for something big here for Indiana, especially in this situation with Matthew Ellis at first base. Has 23 RBIs, so it's definitely been good at seeing his teammates home.
Absolutely. Chris Smith not looking off Ellis too much. Doesn't think he's a big factor stealing bases. Tibbetts gets to that one pretty late. Fouls it into the dugout. As we mentioned, we're going to keep you posted on what each bullpen looks like with, this being the doubleheader and the amount of runs that each team scored on Friday night. Went through a lot of pitchers, but still nobody in the Indiana dugout and nobody in the Evansville dugout either. 1-2 count for Tibbetts. He swings at that one. It's right to second, and they should have no problem turning 2, and they don't. Evansville makes the infield look a little bit easier than Indiana has today, and they turn the easy 4-6-3 double play. Let's watch this one again. Good flip. And just simple stuff from Sherry. The 80s. April 1st here in Bloomington at Bart Kaufman Field is 80s night. Make sure to come out with, I don't know, rock? What are they? Led Zeppelin, maybe? I don't know. My 80s are my.
Or tune into Big Ten Plus.
I'm a big Motown guy personally, so I don't think they'll be dressed up though.
No, probably not.
But if it were me,
have some throwback uniforms.
Ooh, that would be good. They might. Indiana might have some throwback uniforms. Yeah, we gotta.
Oh look, we got some.
We gotta talk to Greg Campbell and see if See if they've got anything going.
Here's the fans in the stands. We talked about how it's dwindled a little bit, but the true ones have stayed out through this cold weather. You mentioned Cincinnati. You stayed through that one. I stayed through that one. Yeah, Kraft getting that first out. Well, we're talking about 80s night.
Yeah, and you know, Wayne Harris is probably from the 80s, so I think it all works out just fine. Well, that's crazy, actually. The 80s is. We don't have to remind people. We don't have to remind people. Brendan Horde up to bat after Kraft picked up his 4th strikeout of the day. He's really starting to come into his own. Excluding that error that he picked up last inning, which led to another walk and bases loaded, but they got out of it. Evansville, though, really keeping Indiana off the bases in general.
Yeah, I've done a really good job at that. Didn't do a great job at it in the first game, so kind of learned a little bit from their mistakes, and I think that's really been the sum of this weekend is we saw the score in Friday's game, and it's a smaller score in the second game, and now it's 2-2, so both teams kind of figuring each other out a little bit and what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah, and this is interesting. This isn't the last game these two teams will play this year either. They actually meet again in Evansville for just a 1-game series on April 5th. So that should be interesting. Definitely keep up with that. Got about, what, 12 reporters, you think, of the IU baseball team? Probably about 3 or 4 for the Evansville team. So definitely keep up on Twitter. It's where everything happens nowadays. But thanks for joining Samantha and I on Big Ten Plus. This has been an awesome day getting to do this doubleheader. In this one, I think a much better game up to this point than the second one was.
It has
been. Or the first game, second. It's really got my head
First
in a
game of the doubleheader, second game of the weekend, you know?
Got my head
second
in a
game of the series, but definitely a closer game, regardless of the eighth inning, which it got close, but Evansville got really close to tying it, but just couldn't quite do it. But
that one grounded right to Pine. Pine's going to take a couple hop steps and simple throw to first. Fugers makes the catch there. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, but this one has been close from start to finish, kind of. A lot like the first game of keeping it tied, lead changes, but just not as many runs as the first game.
Yeah, there wasn't 12 lead changes and 8 ties in this one. Not yet, at least.
Not yet, at least. It's early. It's a 5th inning.
Yeah. Well, plenty of chances for some hitting here, but Kraft really seems to be getting locked in. Now up to 69 pitches on the afternoon. We mentioned Stahl was the starter, came out after an inning and a third. Evansville has kept their Chris Smith out there. He's been pitching pretty darn well up to this point, only giving up 4 hits to the Indiana batters. This one's already had some storylines early, though. The injury to Bobby Whalen running to first, as that one's just outside for first ball of the count. We've had a couple of fielding errors already from Indiana, only one really listed. Swing and a miss, strike 3 for Ryan Kraft. That one was a quick inning for the Hoosiers. And teams have been knotted at 2, and Pine starts out hot. He sends that into right field. It gets over the right fielder's head. That's Hug, and Pine advances to second base. First pitch of the at-bat of the inning, and sends it into the right field wall. Chris Smith after the meeting. Strike right down the middle. Pitch number 1. Smith only has 52 pitches. That's 20 less than. Wow.
Yeah, we mentioned that Evansville has gone through their lineup very quickly, and that comes with having 8 hits, Indiana with 5, but Evansville leading the hits by a good amount. Still doesn't matter if you can't get runners home. It's kind of like soccer.
Yeah.
Goals attempted.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter if you can't get it in the net.
Exactly, unless you can hit the goalie's hands hard enough a few times. And that one sent really high up by Jesse. I don't think it's going to get back far enough. Hug on the warning track, but Pine will tag up, and that's where we talk about the importance of having no outs and a guy on second. Great job by Jesse to get that one all the way to the warning track, or in this game, excuse me. Up to bat. That one gets away from Brendan Horde, but picked up quickly. Every pitch in the dirt now has that much more significance with Pine at third.
Yeah, you don't want to let the ball get away from you too much and give up an easy run for Indiana.
That one finds bottom left corner. It's strike number 1. 1-1 count. 1 out, 1 on third. Game tied at 2, bottom of the 5th inning. Sam Murrison, the sophomore right fielder, up to bat. That one low and away. Makes it a 2-1 count. Chris Smith getting pretty comfortable with the fastball. Hoosiers have done a pretty good job at timing it up lately. They also have 4 strikeouts to Smith. Swung on and missed. Makes it a 2-2 count.
Murrison with one of Indiana's 2 runs already. And this one had a single in the 3rd inning, hoping to go 2 for 2 at bat.
Swung on and missed by Murrison. We just said 4 strikeouts for Smith in the game thus far. Make it 5.
Many opportunities to have a runner on third with how this Evansville defense has been playing so far in this one. So not being able to capitalize on that and leaving a runner stranded on third would not be an ideal situation for the Hoosiers.
Yeah, they would love, you know, a passed ball, a wild pitch, anything like that. This is now a 2-0 count. Matheson could also walk and give way to Tyler Doanes, who's had himself a very solid second game, already 2 for 2 in this one. Matheson hesitates, and that's going to be a strike. First of the at-bat for Smith.
Yeah, you mentioned Doanes being up next. Really good at finding the gaps and getting those singles and doubles to possibly get a runner home, which would be huge for the Hoosiers in this situation.
2-1 count, 2 outs. Matheson stays home there. It's 3-1. A walk does make things earlier in terms of fielding for Evansville. 3-1 count. That one's low and inside, and that's going to be ball 4. So certainly not the end of the world for Evansville. And that's how you start things off, isn't it?
That's definitely how you start things off if you're Nick Smith, really wanting to get that strike to start off, especially with Doanes having runners on the corners.
Runners on the corners, 1 strike, 2 outs for the leadoff man, Doanes. Would say a lot about Indiana's depth in their lineup if they were able to escape with a win here without Bobby Whalen. That one low and away, 1-1 count.
We've also mentioned Doanes. Doanes has 24 runs. He's really good at getting on base, regardless of maybe not being the best hitter, but in terms of walking, and you see that right there, just having a really good eye and being able to tell when that's going to be out of strike zone.
Very patient hitter. He fouls that one high and into the bullpen. Or Evansville will get another look. Still, once again, don't see anybody warming up in the bullpen for Evansville. Not sure how deep they can go. Been through about 8 pitchers, 9 pitchers in 2 days.
Yeah, it's definitely been a brutal series for both teams on the pitching spectrum of things. Have gone through the pitching staff pretty quickly. And Smith with 68 pitch count now.
Tyler Doanes awaits that one. Hits the knees. Now it's a 2-2 count. Chris Smith gonna have to really think about this one. Interesting situation for the runners now with 2 outs, 2 strikes. Do you just go on anything or do you stay home? And that one swung on. Doanes gets it into the gap and scores. The game-breaking run there for Indiana makes it a 3-2 game, and Indiana gets their first lead of Game 2 of this doubleheader. Gives Indiana the lead. Now Philip Glasser also has a single today. First pitch strike.
Indiana has also done really well today in 2-out situations and has been put in sticky situations where they look like they're going to get an easy 3-out inning and end up scoring runs.
Glasser late to that one. Just nicks it off the end of the bat. And every pitch in this game is so, intense. That's what's so great about these low-scoring, games is you're always in it. You're always one hit away. Glasser facing an 0-2 count. Would love to get himself a hit here as well. Guys on first and second. Matheson really dancing around on second base. Trying to force an error. Coach Jeff Mercer mentioned, the thing about aggressive base running is it really forces defenders to have to make way more plays because they've got to think a lot more about where those runners will be positioned.
And that's where Indiana got a lot of their runs in the first game. It was those 6 runs that they did end up scoring was Evansville was forced to throw at first and were overthrown, bad throws by the pitcher, and causes Indiana to, most of the time, be able to advance to second base.
Absolutely, yeah. Helped him out early in the first inning in that first game of our doubleheader. Now, two consecutive balls, and Glasser is suddenly all in this count. Chris Smith trying to get out of this inning. Pitch count now up to 75, and that one is ripped into right field. Oh, and it just almost goes through a hole in the glove of Chase Hugg. Throw to third is outside. Philip Glasser, great job getting aluminum on ball, and by any means that was a line drive, but the defenses of both teams struggling to simply catch the ball.
Kind of just looked like the glove kind of misjudged the position of where the ball was falling, and just kind of a costly error there for Evansville, now trailing by 3 runs. And I mean, we have mentioned multiple times that 3 runs in this series means nothing, but definitely, especially with 2 outs, Indiana just being able to step on the gas and get those 3 runs.
Yeah, I mean, if you make the defense make plays, everything's going to be a little bit more difficult. Yeah, just watch that one happen. Fugers almost got hit in the head, swings and misses the third pitch of the at-bat, but
game today has been, in this game, has been 1 run in the inning. So, but that one ends it Evansville finally gets out of that one.
Yeah, Fugers gets jammed up. Chris Smith, common theme for the Evansville pitchers today. You're doing the best you can, but errors are errors. Ryan Kraft still in, pitching for the Hoosiers, now at 73 pitches. First pitch strike off the glove of Matthew Ellis.
Kraft getting a lot of pitches in this game. Hasn't had that many opportunities to get this high of a pitch count, but has pitched 3.2 innings, has 6 strikeouts, has been outstanding for the Hoosiers.
Has been outstanding. An outstanding pitch from Kraft gets Schallenberger swinging and missing. Schallenberger coming into this afternoon prior to game 1 of the doubleheader. He was batting .385. As we mentioned, 6th in the Missouri Valley Conference for batting average, and had a pretty poor first game performance, unable to get a hit. But 2 for 3 in this one, and that one is ripped down the right field line. That might be out of here, and it is just inside the right field. Foul pole, and Schallenberger has now upped his 2 for 3 performance to 3 for 4 with a solo home run. And he makes this game a 2-run game.
Yeah, cutting into that lead a little bit. Really good job there. Evansville has not, like we mentioned, been able to get much going offensively in that first game, but has just been really good in this game. Has 9 hits so far to Indiana 6. Indiana still with that lead due to a few walks, but just really good offensively by Evansville.
Yeah, Kraft. Left that fastball just sitting inside, and Schallenberger jumped on it quick and sent it oh so deep. And now Indiana only lead by 2 in this one. And now you think about how much, that error meant by Chase Hugg there in right field in the bottom of the 5th. If he catches that, this game's tied.
Exactly. It definitely has a whole different thing, and you can talk about that the whole game, and every game this series has been a what-if scenario.
And that one, a great play and sidearm throw from Josh Pine. How about that? He has been flashing leather all day long, does so once again. And unfortunately, not really enough fans out here to hear clapping or cheering for that one.
Really?
Nor really
Yeah.
for the home run hit.
No. But really, really impressive play there by the Hoosiers, specifically Josh Pine. And there's some Evansville fans there.
There we go, yeah.
Cheering
Got
with
the
their
pom-poms.
pom-poms, yeah. Seems like they all did. I don't know if they got passed out or what. Definitely having their school spirit.
I think their seat warmers in the car are feeling pretty good right now. That one popped up into right field. Play is made by Sam Murrison. 2 outs now for the Hoosiers after the leadoff home run. But here's a guy who has had some success today, Brent Witter. 2 for 3 thus far in game 2.
Yeah, Brent Witter has definitely been a shining light in this Evansville lineup so far in this game, and is a big reason why the game has been so close.
Yes, he has. Doesn't have an RBI today, but has just been making plays and getting himself on base, making things interesting for Evansville. First pitch ball from Kraft, who's had a really solid outing. We've got, and that one smoked down the third base line. It's Witter. Gets it all the way into the corner. Tibbetts throw to Doanes is cut off by Glasser, but a great hit by Brent Witter. Evansville really starting to tee off on Indiana's pitcher, Ryan Kraft.
Yeah, Witter adding on to his successful game so far. In this one, we'll just get a replay of that one.
Just pulled it right down the line.
Evansville has been really good at hitting it right on that line, and Indiana has not been able to get to it at all. And you don't really expect players to get to it. That's just such a hard place to get to.
Absolutely. Josh Pine jumped as high as he could, but he's not playing basketball. He's playing third base, unable to get that ball, and now a meeting at the mound, looking to avenge that missed line drive in the bottom of the fifth that gave up 2 runs, and he almost gets clipped by Ryan Kraft. One-0 count, 2 outs, man on second. Kraft looks him off. That pitch high. Now 2 balls. Kraft already cleared his former season high in pitch count by 15 pitches. Looks like he may need at least 3 or 4 more. That one, ball 3.
Yeah, and the 85 pitch count kind of starting to show a little bit. 86 pitch count, excuse me, now with those 3 balls and 0 strikes.
Let's see if he can put one over the plate here. A little bit inside, but Wayne Harris gives it to him. 3-1 count now for Kraft. Hug has shown no intention to swing the bat in this plate appearance thus far. And there it is, no throw back.
And Kraft has kept his eye on second base this whole time, so.
And now we've got the third base coach talking to the home plate umpire. Ellis tried to throw out Brent Witter at second. Witter got back to the base. Now it's still 3-2. I actually thought that was a ball, but was called a strike. So 3-2, swung on, fouled.
Kraft recovering from having the disadvantage of the 3-0 count and now bringing it up to a full count. Some of the Indiana pitchers have been doing pretty well today.
As you mentioned, full count, 2 outs. Big pitch for Kraft. That one high and inside, and that will be ball number 4. It appeared Chase Hugg may have had something to say to the home plate umpire. He didn't look too pleased.
It's been a lot of players on both sides unhappy with some of the calls.
It's been a long day. It's been a long day.
Definitely been a long day.
It has been a long day for a lot of these guys out here.
Seems like some of them kind of just want to get the win here.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, timeout from Wayne Harris. So 2 outs now. 2 straight base runners added up. A double from Witter and now a walk. And that one short hops home plate. Now it's 1-0 count for Evan Berkey. Berkey, who just smoked one down the third base line a little bit earlier, we mentioned. With a nice breeze blowing through Bart Kaufman Field right now. Everybody needs it, right?
Yeah, definitely. No, people in the stands don't look cold at all.
No, swing and fouled off Berkey's foot. He's gonna need to walk that one off.
Have definitely capitalized off some aces errors.
Berkey into the box, right to Josh Pine, who beats out Witter to third base. And Indiana gets out of the inning, only giving up 1 run, thanks to a solo homer from Mark Schallenberger. We saw him a week ago at Northwestern. He had 2 strikeouts in just an inning of work. So certainly a solid pitcher, but not somebody that Evansville really wants to use, but probably more of a need-to-use basis, right?
Yeah, Eric Roberts played right field in the game earlier today, so definitely a shocker there for people that maybe weren't expecting it, but Matthew Ellis gets out at first base.
Up to bat is Brock Tibbetts. Tibbetts still just trying to find his footing today. Hasn't really had too much success against this Evansville pitching staff. Eric Roberts, 1 inning of work against Northwestern. That one's fouled back by Tibbetts. Last season actually appeared in 18 games and pitched 30 innings. This season has appeared in 5 games. We mentioned with a 2.89 ERA. That's actually the second best on the team. So pretty interesting stuff from this Evansville lineup. Swung on, fouled back, same place from Brock Tibbetts. As we mentioned, he started the game at first base, has moved to left field. A lot of players shifted around due to the Bobby Whalen injury. Roberts has 10 strikeouts on the year. 0-2 count facing Brock Tibbetts, and that one's just high.
Roberts coming in for Nick Smith, who had a pretty successful game so far against Indiana, outside of that 5th inning allowing 3 runs, and probably a big reason why Roberts has came in for him. But other than that, only allowing 2 runs, and those runs were answers to Evansville runs, so definitely has done a good job so far. We're outside of that 5th inning, but pitch count got pretty high for both starting pitchers.
Yeah, it certainly did. Kraft, that may be the most pitches he has in an appearance all season long. Roberts now faces Josh Pine, who had a double in his last at bat. Would like to do more of the same here. Roberts doesn't throw with, a bunch of velocity, but has a lot of different pitches that work a whole bunch of different ways. Now already 2 outs. Swung on, fouled back by Pine. Roberts didn't play his first 2 seasons at Evansville. Obviously, the second season, 2020, shortened. Only played about 14 games. Actually, a funny little tidbit, the last game that both of these teams played in that 2020 season was against each other, March 10th. Indiana picked up the win.
Well included, especially here at Indiana. Indiana fans love packing Bart Kaufman Field and Andy Moore.
Especially now that Bart Kaufman Field has alcohol sales. You will start to see a lot more, fresh 21-year-olds and 22-year-olds come out and support their team. But and obviously a good team. More people want to come out and support a good team. Indiana, it may not be their best year on paper. They won the Big Ten in 2019 in Jeff Mercer's first season as a coach, which hadn't been done at Indiana since 1925.
About 70 degrees and sunny.
And fell back again. Yeah, they set an opening day attendance record. I think it was. Greg Campbell will be getting mad at me here if I'm going to mess up the number, but I think it was somewhere around 3,000 people, which, it was a significant number significant number of people. So good things going on in baseball in Indiana. We think it's cold down here. Imagine what South Bend is going through. They're on another chase for an NCAA tournament bid, and I don't really keep up with the South Bend forecast, but I'd imagine they've got some pretty cold weather too.
A little bit colder when you go up north, but you did mention this Indiana team not having their most successful season. There you got a little kid getting a foul ball out there. Always a good thing. But this Indiana team not having most successful season, but the team has definitely seen a lot of improvements, and that comes with having a young team and just getting those experiences in games.
And Spoon Grove High School, and I think this is something we need to note. You don't always, look out at players as majors and what players are studying, and you do a little double take. Ty Bothwell studying animal behavior. You mentioned you took an animal behavior class.
I took intro to animal behavior.
You think you could study it? I mean, that seems pretty.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed by it. It's a lot of memorization that goes into that, but definitely impressive.
I like that.
Have a lot of sports marketing and management majors.
A lot of
on
that.
The baseball team. So see something different. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, you don't see anything along our lines. You don't see a lot of sports media either. Oh, and that one almost misses behind him. Danny Borg. Brendan Horde up to bat. He's got a hit today. And Evansville players getting rowdy. There's not really enough fans to even make that kind of noise. So this will be interesting to note.
Yeah, the dugout definitely getting into this one.
They are. That one misses again. They're going to love that. And now Matthew Ellis will call a timeout to talk to this guy, Ty Bothwell. Mercer, Evansville players letting him have it. That one, good pitch, almost over the plate, 91 miles an hour, so the velocity's there. Just has to throw it in the zone.
The Evansville dugout still going crazy, and it's really funny to me just because when we're in the press box, it's even more muted. The crowd noise is even usually a little muted, so can definitely tell that they're getting rowdy if you can hear them from all the way in here.
They're getting rowdy. They clapped it up for him a little bit there. His first strike of his appearance in 9 pitches. Evansville players loving it. 3-1 count for Brendan Horde. Has a run today. That one strike. Horde was getting ready to walk. Now it's a full count. Things are getting interesting. Top of the 7th. This is an inning before Evansville really got things going in the top of the 8th last game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a late rally for Evansville here, especially with the pitching change. That's kind of when everything changed in the first game, is whenever Indiana started changing pitchers and caught up to the Hoosiers a little bit, and Evansville capitalized on that, got their 5 runs. Still wasn't enough to tie or get the win, but definitely went on that rally that they've kind of moved over into the second game, but Indiana just being a little bit better on the defensive end.
Now Bothwell, still 3-2 count. That's a strikeout. Evansville bench awfully quiet now. After that, from a 3-0 count to a full count, foul ball and a strikeout. Looking. Brendan Horde is retired, and now Ty Bothwell can breathe a little bit, and so can Jeff Mercer in the Indiana pitching staff. Up to bats Ty Rumsey, who hasn't had much success hitting the ball today, at the bottom of Evansville's lineup. Regardless, it's still Borgstrom on first. 1 out. Rumsey up. And that one, second ball. Rumsey facing 2-0 count. Make that a 3-0 count. Evansville bench is just as loud as about 5 minutes ago. They're loving this.
Took them a little while to get into the
Yeah,
game,
they
but
didn't have much to cheer about, I guess, did they, right? Not until it was 5-6 in that first game. And ball 4 there. That looked close, but Wayne Harris didn't waver at all. That's now a hit, batter, and a walk, and looks like that's going to be all she wrote for Ty Bothwell. Hayden's going to boogie out of the bullpen, and we are going to have a pitching change. So with that coming, we're going to take a short break, and Edgewood High School here in Bloomington, Indiana. Or I guess just outside, right?
just outside, Ellettsville.
Ellettsville. There we go. I'm working on my Indiana geography game by game. Regardless, first pitch of ball. Hayden in his 2 starts on the season is 2-0. Those were against Miami and Cincinnati. He was the home opening day starting pitcher. Obviously appeared in games before that, but his last 2 outings were starts. Now he's coming on in, 7th inning relief work. Gonna have to get that arm loose quick. As he already faces a 2-0 count against Evansville's best hitter. That one's fouled back high. Girl's running out of the way, and it's okay. It avoids everyone, thankfully. You'd be doing the same thing, wouldn't you?
Oh, for sure. If I was not surrounded by a press box and net, I'd be in a lot of danger. But Luke Hayden having 9 strikeouts on the year, but having Mark Schallenberger up to bat is a dangerous situation for the sophomore to be in.
Excuse me, he has appeared in 3 games since that start against Cincinnati. It really feels like that was like a week ago, but it was actually 19 days ago. So has went 2.1 innings, 2 1/3 since then. Hayden that time drills the strike in there. He's already up to 91 miles an hour on that fastball. He can climb up to about 95. Seen him hit 96. So gonna be tough for these Evansville hitters. They haven't seen speed like that, not in this trip at least.
Yeah, there's a reason he's gotten starts like against teams like Kentucky, where Indiana got the 20-7 win, and teams like Xavier too. So a lot of starting jobs for Luke Hayden, and there's a reason he has gotten those starting jobs.
Certainly got roughed up in that outing against Kentucky. Only went an inning, 4 earned runs, 3 walks, and 2 hits. So gonna look to brush that one off. His outing against Xavier, only went an inning and no earned runs. He's gonna try and keep those runners in check as he inherits 2. 2-2 count and make that a full count for Mark Schallenberger. 3 for 4 on the day, including a solo homer in the top of the 6th inning. We're seeing him now only an inning later. So credit to Evansville's batters. They've been working pretty well these last few innings.
Yeah, I've definitely gone through the lineup. 3 for 4 today in the 7th inning.
That one just inside. It's going to be a walk. So bases now loaded for Hayden. Inheriting 2 runners is never easy. But now 1 out and bases loaded. You want to force anything on the ground. And obviously a strikeout's never bad, is it?
No, and Indiana's been in this situation already today in this game and have gotten out of it, and already, once again, a pitcher in the bullpen for the Hoosiers.
And Simon Sherry looking to get his first RBI of this Sunday. That one in the dirt, short hops, even the batter's box. Sherry 2 for 4 on the day. No runs, no RBIs. A strikeout to go along with it. So with Hayden's velocity, if you can get bat on ball and keep it in play, I mean, there's a good chance that you can make something happen. That one low. Already touching 93 miles an hour. But not hitting the zone, is he? Doesn't really matter how fast you throw it, does it?
No, just matters getting those strikeouts, and Hayden not doing the best job at that right now. Had to come in, obviously, in a tricky situation, though, so not the best situation you want to be in as a pitcher, especially when you're used to starting.
Yeah.
But definitely something that Evansville can take advantage. Only 2 runs away from tying it with bases loaded. It's looking good for the Purple Aces with 1 out.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, if you're Coach Jeff Mercer, your freshman's going to have to face moments like these eventually, and the only way to have them learn is for them to experience it. So now worked his way back up to a 2-2 count. That fastball consistently at 93 miles an hour. Just gets out of his hands so quickly. Watch, he does a little glove flutter when he puts the ball in the glove. Swung on and into right field, shallow right, it gets down. That's with at least 1 run. Throw cut off. So bases still loaded. Hayden gives up a single to shallow right center. Great job by Simon Sherry there, getting bat on ball and getting his first RBI of the day.
Yeah, now just 1 run away from tying it up, 1 out. And that Evansville dugout that we said has been pretty hyped up throughout this inning is even more hyped up as going on a little bit of run here.
Tanner Craig now up to bat. We've mentioned he's got 39 home runs. One away from the record, tying the record. That one strike pretty low in the zone. And what a way to tie the record. What a grand slam be to take the lead on the road and get your first true road series win in years. That'd be pretty impressive.
Be definitely a memory to remember for a lifetime.
That one fouled in place. So now a quick 0-2 count for Craig, who hasn't had the same success in this game as he had in the first one. We mentioned he broke the hitting drought, got the first hit in game 1 of this doubleheader early in the 6th inning. Then followed that up with a home, or in the 7th, then followed it up with a home run in the 8th. 0 for 3 in this one, though. Hayden steps off the bag. Craig, 0-2 count, 1 out, bases loaded. 1 run ball game. Just low and away.
This is around the time in the last game where Evansville started to really get something going. Had their first hit in the 6th, but didn't start scoring runs until the 8th, but still just really where they get their momentum going is towards the end of the game, and also could come with the Hoosiers struggling sometimes to close a little bit.
Yeah, and Hayden put that one right on Craig's hands, and Craig got that bat around fast enough to foul it off. But no question, later in the game in these scenarios when relief pitching is so important, Indiana has tended to struggle. That one in the dirt, and that's going to be a run for Evansville. They're going to tie it up on a wild pitch past ball. Runners will advance first to second, second to third, and third obviously scoring that tying run now. Evansville, 3 unanswered runs. They've tied it up, and Indiana's pitching youth is showing brightly right now.
Yeah, it's definitely showing, and didn't show enough in the first game to really be able to make that big of a difference. Like I mentioned, Evansville just coming short of that game, but trying to capitalize on this one and now tying up, and Luke Hayden just not seeming to be able to find the strike zone.
Absolutely not. Ellis looking to the dugout for some answers. Hayden just consistently putting these balls in the dirt. 3-2 count now for Craig, and out would still be huge for Indiana, especially now that the game is tied. Now we got about 5 different people calling a timeout here. Batter hopped out of the box. Hayden stepped off the rubber. Umpires have to deliberate. And we're back to baseball. 3-2 count, 1 out. Samantha, this is a really big pitch.
Huge for Luke Hayden here. Sophomore trying to make his name as a Hoosier.
Popped up high and out of play.
Sounds like it fell behind us.
Yeah, I think so. Craig keeping himself alive. As we mentioned, in a game like this, you just hold your breath on every pitch. Obviously, Craig would love to send one out into the sunshine. There's still a little bit left. But the lights are on here at Bart Kaufman, and we're about, what, 30 minutes away from sunset. That one popped up really high. Someone's going to be able to make a play. Josh Pine getting under it. He does. Almost dropped it. That would have just made life difficult for everybody. Holds on to it, and now that's 2 outs and no damage done by Tanner Craig. Unless you give him an RBI for the pass ball, maybe intimidation.
Intimidation, maybe a little bit. Put that in the stat sheet, but definitely all 3 of these games in this series have been dramatic, that's for sure. The first game, it was a story of who got more runs when it came down to it. I mean, definitely a high-scoring game, but this last one, it was a rally almost by Evansville, and this one has just been wire to wire the whole entire game.
Indiana, 9 of their 12, no, 9 of their 13 now, excuse me. All my numbers are off. Have come in within 3 runs. 9 of their losses have come within 3 runs. So if Indiana loses this one, you'll certainly know why. That statistic says it all. And it all, unfortunately, comes down to late game situations like this one. 1-0 count now for Brent Witter, who got things going in the 6th inning. Got another big hit after the solo home run, but got stranded out there. He's gotten stranded on base 3 times. He's got 3 hits, no runs.
Yeah, definitely there's been a lot of Evansville hitters that have gotten really good hits, but have just ended up stranded on base, and that comes with the great pitching by Ryan Kraft and the great defense by Indiana.
And in the first game, it was great pitching by Bradley Bremer. They had 9 guys left on base in that one. Indiana 6. So Evansville, you losing those 2 guys out there on base would make matters very difficult for their comeback, but give Indiana a really good chance to pull this one out. That one, ball number 4.
Indiana just needing that 1 out to get out of this one, and really good first pitch there by Tucker.
Yeah, Chase Hugg put everything he had into that swing and whiffed on it. Tucker, his last outing, he went 4 innings of relief work. Also was given the loss in the decision. 6 hits, 4 earned runs with 7 strikeouts. Indiana could use one of those strikeouts right about now. It's now a 1-1 count to Chase Hugg. Bases loaded for Evansville. We mentioned They left 9 on base in that first game and only lost by 1 run. So direct result of that loss. They would like to do the opposite here. Chase Hugg with another big cut and miss. Now a 1-2 count, and Tucker can get out of this really quickly. He throws something good here.
Yeah, Tucker, the senior pitcher, made 11 appearances in his junior season, all which were in relief, and earned Big Ten Pitcher of the Week last April. So has definitely had some great outings for the Hoosiers.
That one almost clips Chase Hugg. They're trying to push him off the plate a little bit, give himself some more room to work with. Now a 2-2 count, 2 outs, bases loaded. Every half inning here just getting a little bit longer than the last. Braden Tucker looks off third base. That pitch swung on and yanked down the right field line. I don't think it's gonna stay fair, Samantha, and it doesn't. But what a shot from Chase Hugg.
It's very close to saying fair, and would have been a grand slam for Chase Hugg, which would have just added to the weekend that he's had so far, and definitely would have been another big situation for him, as had one of the momentum shifters in the first game today.
Certainly did. Momentum has shifted in Evansville's favor since the top of the 6th inning, since that Schallenberger home run, and they have poured it on since then, tying the game up now. 5-5, swung on and cut back by Chase Hugg. Can't reiterate it enough. Every pitch now has everyone on the edge of their seats or edge of their blankets. 2-2 count remains, 2 outs. Tucker, the right-hander, Hugg, the left-handed batter. There's my favorite one. She's had it just about up to here.
Yeah, just not even watching the game anymore. Just focus on.
She's too nervous.
Just focus on keeping forward. It's a nerve-wracking game. 2-2 count here, 2 outs, bases loaded. Either side you're on, it's a nerve-wracking time, tied up here in the 7th inning.
Absolutely, 2s all over the scoreboard up there, and that's a 3 strikeout from Braylon Tucker. Takes some big steps after that one, young fella. That's a huge out. That is a guess, though, based on his classification at school. He's a junior, so well, I guess he's probably 21. It's probably the big 2-1. I just forgot I was a junior. Wow, that's great. The big 2-1 for Hunter
Feeling
Jesse.
a little old, huh?
Yeah, hopefully he can celebrate on a Sunday night here in Bloomington. I don't know, not many places to go. Regardless, it's a 1-1 count, and he won't be celebrating much if Indiana can't hang on to this win.
Jesse had a sac fly in the 5th inning for Indiana. Look good on the birthday.
That one
Helping
fouled.
out teammates.
That one fouled off. Just left a play. Jesse has had a solid day today. Had a sac fly in the 5th. Really, really deep shot all the way to the warning track. So last run the Hoosiers scored in quite some time. Almost hits Jesse there. 2-2 count. Feels like Indiana hasn't had the bats in their hands in quite some time. Evansville with quite a prolonged top of the 7th. A couple pitchers for Indiana.
That seems like got more than 2 runs, but did not. Had left 3 runners stranded. So definitely a big situation for Indiana to get out of, to just keep it tied. Jeff Mercer sitting there lucky that Braden Tucker got Indiana out of that situation.
No question, Braden Tucker, some huge pitches there to get the last out for Indiana. And now Jesse will take a leadoff walk thanks to Eric Roberts. Now you got a couple Evansville pitchers taking off there. Pitches. Has a couple strikeouts, that one in the dirt. If you're Indiana, patience is a virtue here. No reason to give Evansville any easy outs. Throw back to first. Jesse dancing. That one inside for a strike. A 1-1 count. The game's speed has really slowed down here a significant amount as we're the start of the bottom of the 7th.
As it was going a little faster at the beginning of the game, but has definitely slowed down, and the top of the 7th just felt like forever.
And Jesse just got tagged out. Bounced off at the wrong time, and Roberts caught him slipping. Great throwback and great out for Evansville and Eric Roberts. I mean, that is just a veteran play. Perfect timing and a great tag at first base from Tanner Craig.
That was a great eye there for Roberts, was looking at Jesse the whole time he was on first base to make sure that he didn't get a run, and it paid off getting him out at first to get their first out and hopefully for Evansville keep the game tied.
Yeah. Keeping the game tied is everything they need to do. Right now we've got the 8-hitter up to bat currently and the 9-hitter in the hole, so we're on deck, excuse me. That one fouled back. Merson gonna have to grind this at bat now with a 1-2 count.
Merson 0-2, struck out last at bat, 5th inning. Only has 8 RBIs on the season, and looks like a cold family there in the stands.
We are a cold family in the booth. In no way is relatable other than we're in Bloomington, and Sam Morrison swinging at a ball in the dirt. It's going to be a slow walk to the dugout for him. In Indiana now, 2 outs, nobody on.
The freshman.
Curveball gets in there for strike number 1. Matheson, the center fielder for now in the near future, until word comes out about Bobby Whalen. Had some groin tightness earlier in the 2nd inning. Haven't seen him since. First inning, excuse me. That one coming back into play. Oof. Very, very dangerous. Carter Matheson now 0-2 count. And it almost feels like the Indiana hitters are just a little happy to get out of the batter's box.
Yeah, definitely. And just trying to get on base at this point, and gonna have to start swinging at something if they want a momentum shift offensively, as Roberts has been really good at finding the strike zone.
Absolutely has. That one misses. Roberts' pitch just a little bit low, just misses the zone. 2-2 count now. And if you're the Hoosiers, you want that Evansville defense out on the field as long as possible, just like they made you wait. You want them to do the same. Pitch in the dirt again. That's 3 straight now.
Really good patience there by Matheson. Not in any hurry, really, to get a hit. Still tied up and still have a chance for your defense to come out and get some stops and get a whole new fresh out count.
The Payoff pitch. Inside, and that's going to be ball number 4. Tyler Doanes now, the hero of the game thus far for Indiana. He's going to have to try and get one more person there, if not himself. That ball's in the dirt now. It's 5 straight balls from Eric Roberts. I mentioned there is somebody working in the bullpen for the Purple Aces. If he doesn't come out this inning, he'll certainly start off the 8th.
Yeah, that looks like it's Nate Kujawski for the Purple Aces working in the bullpen, possibly to relieve Roberts.
Tyler Doanes now 1-0 count. Indiana hasn't swung at a pitch in a while and not going to swing at that one either. That's 6 straight balls now for Eric Roberts, struggling to find the zone. Throw back to first, just missed him. Roberts does such a good job kind of lulling the base runner into thinking he's not even thinking about you, and then whips that throw back to first base.
That's definitely trying to get as many extra outs as you can without throwing any more pitches.
And that one, 84 miles an hour, right in the heart of the zone. Strike number 1.
Finds the strike zone again after, like you mentioned, the 6 straight balls from Roberts.
And now if you're Doanes, you start to think about swinging. 2-1 count. And he almost went at that one. First base ump says he's good. That's Robert Davis down there. Says he was okay. Great check by Doanes, because Roberts was setting him up for another one in the middle. Bottom of the 7th, tie game, 2 outs, 3-1 count. Matheson on first base, Doanes at bat. One inside, that's going to be Eric Roberts' second walk, and as many batters. Interesting tidbit about him, he hasn't allowed a run in his last 4 appearances, so gonna look to keep that streak going against Indiana with 2 guys on and 2 out, and that one in the dirt. Nobody moves. Matheson thought about it.
That statistic is definitely being threatened right now with runners on first and second, but still 2 outs, so out count is on Kujawski's side.
No question it is, and Kujawski's got such an interesting release. It's got to be a little bit tougher for some of these batters. Just comes out of his hand in a flash. That one misses low again. It's been the common play, getting a lot of these late inning pitchers, just putting it in the dirt. Looks like they're almost trying to avoid the zone. Two-0 count now. Glasser 1 for 3 on the day. Doesn't swing at that one either, but that's in for a strike. Good opportunity for Indiana here to score. With only 2 innings left, you can't guarantee you're going to get a lot of these.
Yeah, especially coming down to the wire here.
Philip Glasser 2-1. Kujawski make it 3-1. That ball just like goes inverted almost out of his hand. 3-1 count now. Indiana dugout getting themselves pretty fired up. Need any kind of extra energy, I feel like, at this point of the day.
Yeah, especially when it's this cold outside. Just see players jumping around and trying to stay as warm as possible, finish out this game. Evansville had the energy earlier, and Indiana's kind of picking up a little bit in the energy. Hasn't had a lot of energy in their dugout, but
that one fouled off, almost Up, and Indiana trying to do so right now. Full count here, payoff pitch. Swung on, fouled back. It's a good chance for Glasser there. Really slow pitch, but able to hang on. Glasser, the Youngstown Youngstown State transfer. He's played in a lot of cold outings like this one, I would imagine.
Yeah, 1-3 in today's game. The second game of the day, and reached on error in the 5th inning, where Indiana had a lot of their offensive production.
Everybody running, and that ball into shallow left field. It gets down. That's going to be 1 run scored for Indiana. The throw to third. Tyler Doanes is safe, and Philip Glasser, when it's all said and done, may be the hero for that will decide the game right now. Indiana 6-5. They have regained the lead in a series that has been full of lead changes.
Definitely has been. It's been such an exciting series to watch these two in-state teams play, and especially two teams that have shown to be very similar in terms of pitching and hitting, and definitely schedule-wise have played some really tough teams, and it showed how there's been times that they have learned from those hard games.
Yeah, absolutely. Almost learning from each other in a way. It's going to make that April 5th outing against each other in Evansville that much more interesting. Swing and a miss from Fugers, who's 0 for 2 on the day. We mentioned he got sprung into first base early on with the injury, and 0 for 2. Last at bat was a strikeout. Swings and misses on that one. 2-1, 2 outs. Runners on the corner. Still plenty of opportunity for Indiana to tack on some more, and it hits Fugers, and that's one way to get on base, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's been doing pretty good at that this game so far, and so going to first base, and now
0 for 2 on the day, as we mentioned, hasn't done much since that first game, and he just that hopped to him. I thought he just got hit on the thigh.
Yeah, hit the ground before it hit him, but
you can tell Kajowski reeling right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna have to get it going here. Looks like he only throws it one way. Looks like he's going for the two-seamer. That one grounded, hot grounder to second base. Close play at the plate, to shortstop, and they make that play. Nice little flip from Sherry to Witter, and Evansville. We'll see if he can try and finish it out for Indiana, who have already used 3 pitchers in this game prior to him. Excuse me, 4 pitchers in this game prior to him. Tucker first pitch ball, second one fouled. Guess where? Into the bullpen behind third base. Evan Berkey up to bat. 1 for 4 on the year, has a couple hits in the 2 combined games today. Evansville also has someone working in the bullpen. And that one absolutely pelts Evan Berkey. Takes it like a champ, right on the shoulder, and that is
that was painful.
That's just too many hit batters for Indiana in the 2 games today.
Yeah, there has been a whole lot.
That's Tucker's second hit batter. Free base awarded to Berkey. Now 1 on, nobody out.
Borgstrom up to bat now, has 1 run on the day, but is 0-2. was another player that got hit by a pitch earlier.
That one popped up off the bunt. Can the play be made? Josh Pine has done so much today, just out of his reach. Borgstrom, very, very dangerous bunt attempt there.
Pine trying to get to that one, but a little bit too much to ask for him to get to that one, but would have been a miraculous catch if he could have. And I think the Indiana dugout would have gone crazy.
Absolutely. I think, you know, the 35 fans here would have gone crazy too.
Yeah, still dwindling down from that 150 when this game started.
Borgstrom has seen himself get hit 2 times today. That one bunted backwards now. 2 foul attempts from Borgstrom, 2 pop-ups, neither catchable. And now it's a quick 0-2 count for Tucker.
Yeah, giving Tucker the advantage there. Both of those bunts just going straight up in the air.
Making life a little bit easier, excuse me, for Tucker. I've got to put my hands under my legs. I am so cold right now, and I'm not even outside. Tucker, 0-2 count. Fouled. Deep. Oh, and the dive cannot be made. Awfully similar to Pine's attempts. Brock Tibbetts hustles as far as he can go.
Really nice hustle there for Tibbetts to try to get to it, and Indiana clearly just trying to get some outs here, and maybe stuff to add to the highlight reel.
If close catches be added, I would take those 2 above plenty other ones. Borgstrom now. 3 pitches, 3 fouls. 4th pitch. That one's high and away. Tucker better keep an eye on Evan Berkey. He's 4 for 6 in stolen base attempts. Stolen bases and stolen base attempts this year. And easy for a pitcher to get very locked in on the batter and forget. Pitch. Fouled high up, and that one, just like the other ones, I don't think will be catchable. Oh, and it is. Pine gets it. No attempt from Berkey on first base. Great job by Pine. That ball kind of almost curved back into play.
Indiana finally getting that out, that foul out that they've been wanting the past two times. So. And finally getting that first out with a runner on first after Tucker hit Berkey.
Yeah, Tucker hit Berkey. That one's gonna sting for a while. These guys are tough. They're taking them all right on the chin. Getting to first base. Horde now up to bat. That one's a strike. Right over the middle of the plate. Got some Evansville fans letting Wayne Harris know that that one was way off. Horde 1 for 4 in this second game, including a strikeout and a run. That one high. Indiana has a couple guys in the bullpen. They're not active yet, and I don't think they want to make them active. 1 out, 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 on. Here in the top of the 8th inning, Indiana leads by, guess what, 1. That one's strike number 2 for Tucker. Brendan Horde watching it go by, deep breath. Now Indiana, chance to get 2 quick outs. 1-2 count for Tucker. Just outside.
Tucker trying to just take Indiana to the end of this game. A series that kind of feels like it's lasted a really long time, but
certainly
it's
was supposed to be over at 4:30 today, right?
It's been a long game, and I think the fans are feeling it as well.
They are some troopers. Can't say that enough. Tucker, that pitch, strike 3. Horde very upset. He thought it was high. So did Evansville and company. But you know what? Wayne Harris is probably getting a little bit cold out there too.
Yeah, and Tucker fired up on the mound after that one. And the Indiana pitchers have just really shown a lot of emotion when they get those big strikeouts, and just a lot of feelings for them out on that mound to try to get a momentum shift, and especially a series win going into Big Ten play.
Yeah, would be huge heading into this 4-day break for Indiana baseball, especially on a day like today to pick up 2 wins in this type of weather. Throw back to first, unsuccessful. Indiana now up to 9 strikeouts as a team. Tucker has 2 himself. That one high. Evansville still haven't let that last strikeout go. Ty Rumsey hitless today for Evansville. That one strike number 1, fired it in there inside, right on the knees.
Yeah, you mentioned Rumsey hitless. Has had a few walks today, so has done really good at watching the ball, but now sits at a 1-1 count. Gonna try to get on base.
Fouled into the dugout, Josh Pine. Unfortunately, not every ball catchable, and I think it landed in the trash can.
Nice. Think he's going to get a stat for that?
Great job by Ty Rumsey. Well, if this were golf, that's what you call a hole-in-one.
No, I was thinking Josh Pine might try to just run into the Indiana dugout.
And you could probably dive into the trash cans, and
Here's a replay of it.
This is great.
Oh
Boom,
my
right
gosh.
In there. Right in there, cannonball. 1-2 count. Rumsey just made contact there with that one.
Great job by the camera people to get
I
that.
could watch that all day long.
Very satisfying.
We actually had a few points of contact over there. In that first game, we had a ball hit the mic up on the dugout, so it's a hot corner over there. 1-2 count, 2 outs, 1 on. Top of the 8th inning. Indiana leads by 1. That one swung on, fouled. Rumsey hanging in there tough. As you mentioned, 2 walks today, 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 7th. I don't think Tucker's going to let him walk here. He's going to make him swing for it. Try and bring Indiana defense into play. Ball fouled back once again. Here's a look at the heaters in the dugouts for each team.
Yeah, Tucker obviously trying to keep that right hand warm, rubbing it on his leg, blowing into it, trying to get this last strike and this last out in the 8th inning.
Swing and a miss. Tucker is fired up. There's no such thing as a technical in baseball, but that was some type of motion at the first base. Jukowski is out for Evansville on the mound. Is number 31, Nate Hardman. Hardman to transfer out of Lincoln Land Community College. That one down and away. He advanced to the D2 Baseball World Series when he was a starting pitcher for the Loggers. 2-0 count, grounded up the middle. Hardman tipped it, and what a play from Hardman and shortstop Simon Sherry.
Hardman tried to get a catch behind the back or something to throw it, but luckily Sherry was there to recover that one. And now Josh Pine up to bat for the Hoosiers. 1-3 on the day, scored one of Indiana's 6 runs already.
That's a strike. First pitch strike up to Josh Pine. Well, the good thing is Pine got a lot of steps in. Maybe he was able to heat himself up a little bit in the top of that eighth inning. He was running all over the field.
Yeah, I was trying to get those outs.
But unfortunately, that's 2 quick strikes. Hardman looking to make quick work out of this bottom of the 8th. I still can't believe that play. Hardman not even looking. Makes just the right amount of contact to get it to Sherry. And that's strike number 3. That was 3 quick ones. Every pitch right in the middle of the zone.
Hardman coming in for Evansville and already doing a really good job to have 2 impactful plays, slowing down the ball in the first batter, and then there just the easy strikeout.
And Hunter Jesse now up to the plate, had a walk in the 7th inning. 0 for 2 on the day. Big day for number 4. Swung on, fouled off his ankle. Gosh, that hurts just watching, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Oof.
Just gonna have to walk that one off,
Here.
but
And Hardman making it difficult. He's throwing a bunch of strikes, so as a batter, you have to swing. 2 outs. That one awfully close, but just high.
big risk there for Jesse to not swing on that one, as we've seen how good Hardman has been at staying in the strike zone, but on the other hand, a really good eye to notice that it was not a strike.
1-2 count. He swings on that one, flies it very high in the air. Shortstop. Sherry is there to make the play. And that is quick. 1-2-3. Some of these players want to get out of here. The Indiana players want to get out of here up 1 run. And Schallenberger wants to get to home plate. Evansville finds themselves down 1 run after 2 runs in the top of the 7th to tie the game up at 5. Indiana tacked 1 on in the bottom of the 7th and took the lead, and now Indiana trying to desperately hang on to that 1 run difference.
Currently the same exact score from our game earlier.
And the question is, will it end that way? Schallenberger's swing is on a ball that almost hit him. Certainly does after the tip. And now a 1-2 count. You talk about momentum. If Schallenberger can get on base, Evansville will have all of it in the world. Indiana has a couple guys in the bullpen if necessary, but if they're gonna win this one, Tucker is gonna be the one to finish it out. Schallenberger now facing a 1-2 count. Obviously had the solo homer in the 6th. And that one fouled, or popped up very high to guess who? Josh Pine. But Glasser forces him out of the way and makes the catch for out number 1. So makes the catch. That one, check swing right off the bat. Almost like Tucker meant to do that. Instead, Sherry will be shaking his head. That's a quick 0-1 count.
And ended up just about hitting Tanner Craig,
Absolutely
who's up to bat
did.
next.
Tucker looking for his first save this season. Had an opportunity earlier in the year, but blew it against Clemson. That one was a tough one, gave up 2 runs. He only gave up 1 run, excuse me, that tied it up, and then the next guy gave up the run in the 10th inning, so chance for Tucker to get one back here as the last bit of fans are clenching their jaws and chattering their teeth here in Bart Kaufman Field. 1-2 count to Sherry, swung on and missed. 2 outs, down for Indiana and Braden Tucker up 6-5. How ironic would that be? The same exact score as game 1, Samantha.
It would be kind of crazy, but it would make so much sense with how this weekend has been going.
Absolutely.
Really good job there. Braden Tucker has just been phenomenal closing out this game for the Hoosiers, and just is 1 out away from getting this series win.
Don't count out Tanner Craig by any means. One quick pop of the bat and we're all nodded. That's 6 here. Craig hasn't had a hit in this game, so now would be the perfect time. 1-0 count. And that one right to Philip Glasser, and that is it. Tucker's fired up, Indiana's fired up. They do it, they win each leg of the doubleheader by the same score of 6-5.